My name is Haley Huppert, and this is Avery Holt, and we are from Rock Canyon High School. We did a project for zoology, and our topic was natural disaster, kind of focusing more in on flooding. So flooding, as we all know, is a flood is an overflow of water that submerges land, which is usually dry. Flooding occurs as an overflow of water from many different water bodies, from oceans to rivers to even streams to anything. Flooding can be caused by heavy rainfall, washing many things out, and then also in Colorado we see more snow melt. So when it snows a ton and it melts off into rivers and streams, it can overflow, and then even that can cause disaster, which from housing to bridges to roads to animal habitats and even harming animals too. And here's an example.
So the wildlife affected, flooding leaves many animals such as rabbits homeless and possibly even killed. 85% of rabbits each year die from flooding or heavy rainfall. Also, floods can pose a great challenge for wild animals, and when there's nowhere to escape from the rivers or the lake or wherever they're near, it damages their habitat and then they can potentially die, obviously drowning. So here's a rabbit, and they just have little legs, so they can't swim either. So rabbits continued. Rabbits are affected by flooding because they tend to live close to rivers and other types of water bodies, and near like rivers and stuff, they dig holes, and that's like their main like living space. They also can't swim and they hate water. So I'll show you these pictures. Here's a little baby one
Being rescued.
and then here's just like a little picture of a bunny hole where a bunch of bunnies would all sleep together, and say if it were to even just like rain extremely heavily,
Those can easily get washed out.
yeah, they can easily get washed out and drown really easily.
So our solution that we want to propose is to put up more flood barriers and flood walls throughout Colorado, even as little as streams or rivers. So the flood walls are used to control the waters and of rivers or other waterways which may rise unusual levels during extreme weather events. These walls will resist sliding, and they'll be the appropriate size for, I mean, if we have a huge lake, we're not going to have a tiny one trying to over barrier it. So we're going to have a large one, and then, so here's an example of a larger one for like a lake or a massive river. And then here's a little one that we'll see more often. I mean, it lets water through, just like if it needed to let animals through, but it doesn't wash away heavily at wildlife and their habitats.
So materials, the main materials are like cement and plywood and steel rods, but there's also furring strips, wooden frame, plywood, fiberglass, and here's just kind of like the basic structure. So you have like the cement siding, and then these are furring strips. So it's really like a steady, like durable, like plan that we have, and we think they can hold up because Colorado has.
They'll last many years too,
Yeah.
with all the layers that it has.
Yes. Here's just another picture. So the cost of flooding walls all depends on where and when it's built. Depending on how big the wall is and when, if like there's a lot of floods going on, that could be more expensive just because it's more busy. Also, the basic 4-foot wall is about $120 per linear foot, which is pretty pricey, but we think it would be worth it. And the combination of the estimated cost for the barrier project is also determined a lot on like the cost of effectiveness. So like it really can range from how fancy of a barrier you want to how simple of a barrier you want.
So our timeline, the amount of time to construct the wall honestly depends on just the size of the wall and where it's at. It can go from anywhere from weeks, just a few weeks to build one in a river or a stream, or it could go to months to years if you're building a massive, huge one. Also, from the cost and the timeline, it may take time and it may cost a lot, but in the end of it, you're saving not only rabbits, but you're saving so many other wildlife, and then also wildlife itself. Like, it won't be destructed, and even humans and like homes and
streets and everything.
so why you should care. You may be thinking, why save rabbits? There's a billion of them and they breed like no other, and that's very true, but rabbits are definitely also one of the smaller wildlife animals, so they're definitely taken out by a lot, and like we said earlier, 85% of them are killed by just heavy rainfall and flooding and getting them washed out, so that's definitely a lot of rabbits.
There are also times when like the animals are unable to escape the scope of the disaster due to its size or like of its nature. So like when there's like a bunny that obviously can't swim and can't like help itself, it just gets like destroyed. And like you guys saw like the Boulder flood last year, or was that 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Like there's no way that a bunny or like squirrel, for example, could like survive that in any way. And like animals like birds and stuff, or like animals that live in trees have like the advantage of being able to get out of the water. But bunnies, like their normal habitat is holes and like living in the ground or like in bushes, so they have an unfair advantage.
Yeah, those are definitely taken out first.
So just to conclude this, like with these flood walls in the right place, we hope to help and protect and save a lot of rabbits in their habitats.
We're just here to get our word out to you guys, because as we know, you guys do care about rabbits and wildlife, so we just wanted to get the word out there about how we had an idea about flood walls and putting them up more to help protect it all.
Yes. Thank you guys for your time, and if you have any questions, let us know. Thank you.